Hello, Tim Morrow here from the Tax Doctor. I'm going to walk you through this video that's going to show you how to e-sign your tax return and how to pay for your tax return right through your secure client portal. Now, we had a majority of our clients last year go through this process with no problems. We did change a few things, so even though you've done this before in the past, do watch this video in its entirety because it's going to look and feel just a little bit different. And the e-signature process, we feel the changes that we made are much easier than what they were in the past. So where we're going to have you start is on our webpage. This is the easiest place to get access to all of our how-to videos and walk through the process. But essentially, you're going to go to origtaxdoctor.com. You see our web address up there in the corner. And what you're going to look for is this login button in the upper right-hand corner. It's this big blue button right there. Once you select it, it's going to redirect you to the Secure Client Portal site. Okay, now that's where it's going to look a little different to those who have done this before. And it's going to look like this as soon as you select the login button. Now you'll notice our logo up here in the upper left-hand corner and then the login information. Now I'm going to go through this video assuming you already know your username and password. If you haven't logged into this new system yet this year, you're going to want to watch the video that's on the homepage that shows you how to obtain your username and how to obtain your password, or basically reset your password. It's done by this link right here that says forgot username and password. Not going to cover that in this video because I'm going to assume you already know it. And we are going to move our way through to the e-signing and paying process. So I've got the information already plugged in here, and we are going to hit login. And as soon as we do, you'll notice up here in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see your name show up, at least your username show up, so you know you're logged in. If there are documents that we have sent you, you'll notice this is broken up into items from the preparer, that's us, items to the preparer. This is stuff you've sent us. So this is if you've uploaded information to us, it would be in here. And you can set up folders in here if you want. Again, that's all handled in another video series where it addresses how to upload documents to us, but those would be in there. And then down here towards the bottom, this public folder, if you uncollapse it, in other words, hit this little arrow and hit down, there are some of our documents, the client information, engagement letter, and stimulus forms that you can fill out. And then our small business, rental property, and farm organizers are down there. So that's kind of the lay of the land. But what's going to end up happening if you're just coming in here to e-sign and then to pay is you'll notice right over here a little menu. You got files, you got your profile. We can upload checklists to you if you ask for the client organizer. That's where that would be in. Messenger is where you can communicate with us. And then right here, sign forms, you'll see a little red flag, says there's something in there, and then payment. So these are the two things we're going to address in this video. We'll go through these other things in different videos. But sign forms and payment, that's what we're looking for. So let's go through the sign forms section. I'm going to move myself up this way a little bit, and you're going to click sign forms. Okay, actually I'm going to move myself back down. And you'll notice that there's one document there, and it's going to require two signatures, because you have to sign the federal and the state. So for this individual, it's two signatures, one for the federal, one for the state. If you're married, then it would be two for the federal, two for the state. So it would be 4 total signatures. So that's what that denotes. But essentially, you just come up here and you click on the signature portion. And it takes just a quick second to load, and then it loads the forms that you're signing. So I am putting a form in here for this particular person, and you'll be able to scroll down just a little bit, and it puts a yellow box where your signature is going to go. Now, what the signature process is, the reason they're able to accept electronic signatures is because it's not really about the signature. It's just you proving that you are you, essentially. So we used to have to put in a PIN number and all these other identifying factors. Now the government uses a system where they're going to ask you some questions specific to you that only you will know. Here's an example. It might say something like, in the last 10 years, which address did you live at? And it's going to list 4 different addresses, and it'll give you the option to select one of them that only you would know. And you go through a series of questions like that. If you've ever done any banking online or filled out loan papers online, if this is the identical system that is used. So once you answer those questions, the software says, okay, that's you, and then it will stamp this as being signed. That's how the process works. So essentially, you come down here, you'll notice if I hover over the signature area, the box turns blue, and I'm going to select it. All right, and it says, here's the knowledge, this is kind of the disclosure, the knowledge-based questions. All right, you'll be asked a series of questions to verify your identity. These questions are generated from public and private data. By the way, this is a government system. This is not a system that we set up. So these questions come directly from them. All right, you get 3 attempts to answer 3 out of the 4 questions correctly. You can skip a question if it's kind of wonky, or if maybe it's a question you don't know the answer to because it's so long ago. And that's how you work your way through it. So you just hit continue, which is right here. And then it's going to generate the questions. So confirm identity. Which of the following people do you know? All right. So it just lists some of these random names. So I'm going to answer the questions because this is my daughter and I know how to answer these questions because I know who she knows. All right. So the answer to that is this. And then you hit next. Okay. How long have you been associated with the property 260 South 10th Street? And it's just asking the number of years that you've lived at 260 South 10th Street. I'm going to answer that because I know the answer to that for her. Which cross street is closest to your address on 49th Street? And I would look at these, and I know the answer to that. So I've just answered 3 questions. If I wanted to skip that question, I can skip it. I can select that right there, and it'll go to another question. But I got to be able to answer 3, and then it'll confirm. So I've answered 3. Once I hit next, which country have you lived? I'm sorry, it was 3 out of 4. Which county have you lived? Looking at these, this is none of the above for her because she hadn't lived in any of those counties. Actually, I take that back. I think she lived in Boone County down at school. Okay, so once I've answered those correctly, it'll say capture signature. All right. The way you can do this with your mouse, your finger, if you're doing it on your phone, but you essentially just try to do a scribble or a name or as best you can, okay? I just did it with my mouse, which doesn't look great. This actual part of it is not that paramount to anything, but they do require you to try to attempt to put your signature in there. Then you hit next, okay? Now it's going to go to the second signature. Remember how I needed 2? Because it's got to go to the state one. And I'll go through that, and I'll put her signature up here, okay? And then I hit apply. Now, that's as easy as that gets. We've just signed both of the documents. We scroll down to the very bottom after we've done the second one, and you'll see submit signatures. So now that I've done it, I want to submit it. So I hit submit. It says you want to confirm. Yes, we do. And we hit submit. And off they go. Now, you'll know you did it right because now it says no more signable forms. As soon as that occurs, we get notice that you signed it. It's just that easy. Now, we've got that on our end. The IRS ever wants to make sure we're getting signatures, we'll have everything that's legally needed to prove to the IRS that you looked at your tax forms and then you signed them. That's all there is to it. If you're married, you're going to go through that thing for both the taxpayer and the spouse. So you're going to have more to that. So they'll ask the taxpayer a series of questions, and you'll go through those 2 signatures. Then you got to go over to the spouse, and they'll ask questions specific to that spouse and go through those questions as well. And then you can sign. So pretty simple stuff. It's really, really slick the way it works. Now, once that's done, then you can go to payment right over here. Okay, so you're going to pay for your tax return now. So you select payment, and you'll see your invoice up here. All right, and it'll have the date that we sent it. It'll have the amount that you owe. You haven't paid it yet. It'll turn to paid once you do it. And the memo is, of course, what you're paying for, which is your tax return. So this is really simple. All you do is select pay. You get this box that shows up right here. You fill it in, first name, last name, all the details that would be on your credit card information or debit card. By the way, this is only credit or debit. You can use either one. It obviously defaults the amount in there that you owe, and then you put your credit card information right there, expiration date, and then that 3-digit code that's on the back, and then you hit submit. I'm not going to walk through that because I think everybody knows how to fill out a credit card form. You hit submit, it'll show as paid. We get notice, we e-file your tax returns. Just as simple as that. Now, if you signed your documents but you forgot to go to the payment thing, we'll let you know that we got the signatures, but we don't have payment yet. Then you just got to walk through that process. So that's all there is to it, guys. If you have any questions on it or you're getting tripped up or any issues, you can call our office. But it is, again, watch the video. I think it's about as self-explanatory as it can get. So that's all there is to e-signing and paying. Once that's all done, we will e-file the tax return, and then eventually we'll have your documents, your actual tax return, up in here, up in this section right here. So again, that's the e-signing and paying video. Thanks.